Hi everyone, this is Lisa Krein. I am the operations trainer with Berry Companies, and today I'm going to show you how to create a shared Google Calendar so that you can share them with your field technicians and they can easily access the locations, the information on the ticket, maybe a contact right on their phone, so they don't have to call all the time. It's a very easy way to share information, and Google makes it very easy. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new shared calendar. And the way that I do this is I look under my account. I'm logged into my account. First thing I want to point out, there's me at the top, so I am in my account. I'm going to go over to my calendars. I'm going to hit the down arrow, and I'm going to say Create New Calendar. And you could type Field Technician Calendar 1 if you only have one field technician, or maybe if you have more, you want to name them by person. So I might say this is Billy Bob Field Calendar. You don't have to give it a description or a location, but the thing I will remind you about is do select a time zone for it. If you are in the Rockies, you need to make sure that you change it to Mountain Time from Central Time. That's all you have to do right now with this. Scroll down to the bottom. You hit Create at the top or at the bottom. And right over here in the My Calendars list, in the side, it's going to create Billy Bob Field Calendar. It gives it a color, yellow. Let's say I want it to be purple because I technically already have a yellow calendar that's tasks. So I'm going to click that down arrow. I'm going to change it to purple. And that's going to be my default color for the calendar. So let's say that I want to be able to share it with a specific field technician because I'm the only person who sees this at this moment. Even though I typed his name, I haven't shared it with him. So I'm going to click the down arrow again. I'm going to say share this calendar. And down here at the bottom, it's asking who do you want to share with. I'm going to type here his Billy Bob's email address. For our training purposes, I'm just going to use our warranty account, warranty12 at bobcatoftherockies.com. And I want to change See All Event Details to Make Changes to Events. That way, Billy Bob can show you when he's done with an event, and I'll kind of go into that later. But if he can only see details, he really can't access all the information that we need him to. So again, I changed it from See All Event Details to Make Changes to Events. And I'm going to click Save. And now it has shared this calendar with Billy Bob. There are two ways that you can add events to the calendar. The first way is to add events actually kind of down here in the body. So let's say I'm going to schedule something for Billy Bob at 11. It's going to be a 250-hour service at Key Construction. I'm going to make sure I put it on his calendar, Billy Bob Field Calendar. And I'm going to say Create. And I know that it's not going to just be an 11 to 12 thing. I really think it's going to take him until about 2 o'clock. So I'm going to just click that bottom line and drag down. And now it's blocked out 1, 2, 3 hours on his calendar and on my calendar that he's going to be working. Now the reason I don't like scheduling down here in the bottom is because I do have my own calendar. Here I have events that typically go into my day. So I don't necessarily want Billy Bob's events going into my events too. Instead, I like to create them as all day events, and they show up at the top, and then I just put a number in front, and it will basically show him numerically what tickets to go to. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to say delete because I really want to create this up here at the top as an all-day event. I can do that by clicking the create button, or I can just click up here and it automatically lets me create an all-day event. So now let's say the first thing I want him to do is a 250-hour service at Key Construction. I'm going to change it to his calendar, but instead of saying create, I'm just going to say edit event now. Because I really want to give him a little bit more information about this 250-hour service that he's doing. So I'm going to enter a location that I want him to go to. And it automatically starts doing a Google search for that location. So this is the one that I want him to go to. I can click it. And now down below in my description field, I can even tell him the ticket number. And I can say, call Joe when you get on site. Maybe Joe is the manager of the construction site, and he's the one who really wants to tell him what's wrong. So I'm going to give him a number, 316-555-0130. And I'm going to click Save at the top. So I want to make sure I have a number, because this is the first thing I want him to do today. I tell him what he's doing, a 250-hour service, what company it's with. I have all day checked, and this is the day I want him to do it on. I've included the address, and this is very important for the calendar app that he's going to open up on his phone. I've made sure that it's on his calendar, Billy Bob Field calendar, rather than on any of my others. And I've given him the ticket number, maybe a phone number of somebody on site. I'm going to click Save, and it's automatically going to save under purple, the color that I gave it earlier, and it's saving it there at the top. So let's say I want to add the second thing that I want him to do for the day. I'm going to click up here again, and I am going to say 2, because this is the second thing I want him to do. Hydraulic leak, and this is at ABC Concrete. I'm going to make sure it's on his calendar, and I'm going to say Edit Event. Again, I need to make sure that I give it a location. I've made sure that it's on his calendar, and again, I'm going to give it a ticket number. And I might say, call me before you get started for special instructions. So again, I've made sure that I have the title, I have it set to all day, I have an address for it for his phone, I've added it to his field calendar, not mine, and I've given it a little bit of information down below. And again, having that number 2 in there, meaning that's the second thing I want you to go to today, is important, because now when I click Save, it's put them in numerical order. There's number 1 and there's number 2 right below. So I see them great on my calendar. Now let's see how we see them on Billy Bob's calendar. I have Billy Bob's iPhone pulled up. This does work with Android phones as well. You just have to make sure that you download a couple of apps. The first thing that you absolutely need is Google Maps. Have to have the Google Maps app installed, or else this won't work, because it does have to pull information from the map when you want them to go to a certain place. So this is a free app. Mine is already installed. That's why the button here says Open. If it was not already installed, it would say Get or Install. So that app is first. Second one that you need is Google Calendar. Google Calendar looks like a little number 31. This is the one that's the most important to use for this, because he will be able to see all the apps or all the appointments that you list for him in that calendar chronologically with a map, and he can even change it to show you that he's done, and I'll show you how those are. Again, this would usually say Get or Install if you haven't ever installed it yet. Mine says Open, so I'm going to open it. Now, on Billy Bob's phone, I'm going to type in his email address. Again, I was just using the warranty account for training purposes. So there's his email address. I'm going to click Next. And whatever his password is for his Gmail, this is where you're going to type that password in. You hit Next, and then you say Get Started. You can see that that warranty account, the one that I used for the email, it's flipped on. I'm going to say Get Started, and it's automatically going to set up his calendar, and there are the 2 events that are created for today. I've created them over here on Monday the 25th. You'll notice that they are purple, and it's a little bit hard to see on the phone, but you will notice that the bottom line of that is purple as well, so that if I did want to turn on other calendars, I absolutely could, and they would show up as different colors. The way you can do that, if you're interested, up at the top there are 3 little bars. You can always click those 3 little bars, and you can see there's a little gear icon at the top. If I click that, I can turn on any other calendars that I want to under Manage Accounts. I can just flip them on or off, but you can see that my colors are in here. So I'm going to click the X. Okay, so we're in the calendar app. The first thing that I told him to do was go to a 250-hour service at Key Construction. I'm going to go ahead and tap that on the phone. And it automatically brings up some great information. It tells me what the description was that I typed, that 250-hour service in Key Construction. And then it even gives a few more details down at the bottom. Give me the ticket number that I typed in to him, and it also gives the phone number. Call Joe when you get on site. If I did want to call that and I was on the phone, you'll notice that it's blue. If I just tap it, if I tap that phone number, it will automatically say, do you want to call them? And if I hit call, it's going to start calling Joe at the number that you gave him in that description. So that's a nice feature. Now, the great thing about having both Google Maps and Google Calendar on the phone is because I typed in an address right here, I can tap that with my finger and it's going to reopen Google Maps, show me exactly where my location is. And then you'll notice at the bottom there's a little car. I can tap that car and it automatically looks at where I'm located. And you have to have your location turned on in location services for Google Maps. Yes, Google Maps, I give you permission to look at where I am. So I'm the blue dot. My location that I want to go to is the little red pin over on the left hand side, and it gives me a couple different options about how to get there. Now if I don't want to take this route down here because I know there's some construction, so I know that time is probably not accurate, I can tap with my finger either of the other routes and it will automatically take me on those. So now if I click the little arrowhead down at the bottom, you'll notice that it will automatically start taking me on my route like a GPS normally does. So now if I had this playing in my car, or if I had this in my hand, as I started driving, it would talk to me and tell me where to exit. The thing I really love about Google Maps is if you are going a long way and there's an accident on your route, Google will automatically notify you that there's been an accident. It's added 10 minutes to your time. Would you like us to reroute to a shorter route? So it's very intuitive in the way that it is able to take you through traffic and make sure you get there in the quickest way possible. So I'm going to click the one that says back to Google Calendar at the top because I no longer want to be in my app. I instead want to be back here at my Google Calendar. The other thing I want to show you is I'm in the event. And again, the way I got into that event was I simply tapped it with my finger on the phone. Now the last thing I want to point out is there is a little picture of a pencil right here. That's the edit feature. So if I edit that, I tap that, and I go down to the bottom, let's say I am Billy Bob and I finished with this 250-hour service. If this is part of your process, you could tell him go in and show me that you're done by changing the color to red. So under default color, I could tap that. I could change it from default color to tomato, which is red. It saved it on my end now, and in just a moment over here on this calendar it will update with that red color. So now I see the bottom bar changed over here from purple to red, and the one that's down below is still purple. I'm going to refresh the calendar in the background. Nope, it already did. It changed it to red right before I hit that refresh button. So it takes about 15 or 20 seconds for it to update on your end, as you could see, but it changed to red so that you can see, okay, he's done with his 250-hour service, he's heading to his hydraulic leak. So that is basically everything you need to know about how to use Google Calendar in conjunction with the computer and the phone on both ends. If you do have any questions, please feel free to call me and I would be more than happy to help. Have a wonderful day and enjoy those Google apps. I certainly love them. I hope you do too. Bye-bye.